You know, it's been a while since I've been on this playlist, but whatever. How's it going, everyone? And welcome back. So today's my birthday, and I kind of wanted to do something a little different for this next special review. A movie! I wanted to look at something that had my birthday in mind, and, well, because this is my 9th special review, the stars all aligned for me to talk about a little movie called This Number. Well then, my first movie for a special review. I know this isn't what you were probably expecting for the first, and honestly I wouldn't have thought this as the first, but it seems like I have a thing for the forgotten, and this is definitely no exception. This movie is directed by Shane Acker, which is mostly known for this alone, but has done some other projects which almost included a Thomas the Tank Engine live-action movie. I'm guessing it was live-action, it was cancelled. After making a 9 short film in 2005, that would lead to a full-blown big-budget film in a few years' time, and it was released under Focus Pictures, which their only movie at the time was Coraline that came out a few months prior. It also had some big-name producers on board, including the likes of Tim Burton, who I'm pretty sure you're all aware of. You know, I should probably make a video or two about his films. Probably some things I could look at between November and December. Anyway. The movie would come out on September 9th, 2009, and the critics were kind of split on this one. It didn't help either that it was a flop at the box office, barely making a little over its $30 million budget. I have a weird history with this movie myself. I remember this coming out and I remember liking it, but all these years later I don't remember much of what actually happened during it. Most of what I can think of is ragdolls and some creepy ass robots, and I know I'm not alone on this. It has a following for sure, and it's partially why I wanted to talk about this. What is it about this movie that has been stuck in the back of my head for all this time? So to prep for this, I bought the DVD on eBay, and now I can finally give this the proper look it may or may not deserve. Anyway, let's begin and see why this movie is called This Number. We begin the movie with this old man putting together a rag doll. In between the assembling of the hands and the eyes, we get a bit of narration giving us some insight into what he's thinking.
We had such potential, such promise.
I said the same thing about Elon Musk. After some symbols bring us into a title card, we see our little ragdoll friend come alive to see a dead old man in a world that has truly seen better days. He sets off with that little trinket to see if he can find any clues as to what happened, and he comes across another ragdoll who is only known as 2, played by Martin Landau. We can't really speak at the moment, so 2 gives us a voice box only for us to sound like Elijah Wood. Not my first choice, but I'll take it. The 2 hear some commotion, and all of a sudden an animal carcass-wearing nightmare attacks and steals our MacGuffin, but kidnaps 2 in the process. 9 passes out on his way to save him, and this is where we get to meet some of our other numbered companions. First we have 5, played by John C. Reilly, the leader 1, voiced by Christopher Plummer, and the big and strong 8 from the talents of Fred Tatasciore. 1 explains that when they awoke, the war was raging on against mankind and the dreaded machines. They released a gas bomb which decimated everything in sight, and now the numbered crew keep themselves in hiding, hoping that one day the machines will die off at some point. After some back and forth, we go to the watchtower to see where 2 is, and after a little convincing, 5 sets out with 9 to rescue their missing friend. Eventually they make it to their destination and find 2 alive and well, but they still have that robot monster to deal with. They get an assist, however, from the female ragdoll 7, played by Jennifer Connelly. Celebrations are cut short, however, as 9 puts that device into this slot, and this happens.
You're a dumb fuck! A dumb fuck!
It awakens this giant metal monstrosity, and the 3 of them frantically try to escape its wrath. They make it out of there, and after showing the giant robot making some new pals, the dolls head to this mansion to find some answers and come across the Mute Twins 3 and 4. They discover through video projection technology that this chancellor had ordered the scientists to create this robot known as the Brain to build more machines in order to establish a form of peace to the world. Whew, that was a mouthful. Unsurprisingly, the robots went rogue and started to murder all of humanity as one AI would do. The doohickey that powered the Brain contained these weird symbols a Stitch punk by the name of Six always draws, and that 2 has been studying. It's decided they're headed back to 1 to try and make sense of this, which doesn't go well as this winged beast shows up and wreaks havoc. With a cable and a fan, the big bird ends up being a little shredded. Not one of my better quips. Sorry. They head back to that mansion with 1 telling 8 to guard the place, and this happens. Is my guy taking drugs? Well, I guess that's one way to mellow out during a post-apocalypse. They see that the symbols have something to do with magic, and 9 realizes that he has to go back to the place where he woke up to piece more of the puzzle together. Before that, we see another bot, and this is the creepiest of them all. Fuck, that's a sight to see. Definitely gave some kids nightmares, that's for sure. 7 and 8 are captured during the altercation, and the group realizes that hiding isn't going to work anymore and that they need to fight back to save their friends. After giving 2 a proper funeral, it's back to the factory to see 8 bite the bullet and to kill Babyface. Outside they have a blimp to deal with, and 5 hatches a plan to roll a lit oil drum into the factory, blowing it up and killing all the robots in there. I know I joked about Batman 89 earlier, but this explosion reminded me of that. So yeah, they won. They play a little music and watch the factory burn to the ground, with the story finally coming to...
Well, shit!
They escape over the bridge, and 6 realizes that the others are trapped inside the Brain, which ultimately costs his life in the process. The group thinks that they must destroy the machine, but 9 thinks that there's a chance to free them and returns to the place where it all started to look for a solution. He discovers a box that contains a video message for him, which gives him some more insight into the Brain's creation and how the Chancellor corrupted it to turn on mankind. He makes each of the Stitch punks, which are each a piece of his soul, and that together they are what remains of humanity. 9 rushes back to the others, and so begins the final battle against the Brain. The heavy artillery doesn't do much, and even some other explosives still has the fucker keep going. In a perfect act of heroism, 1 makes the ultimate sacrifice in order for them to take the talisman and to give them a fighting chance. And to think I was looking for a reason to hate 1 even more. But he changed, and he pulled 1 through. Nice job. With the sequence activated, 9 unleashes the killing blow, destroying the Brain once and for all. The movie ends with a proper burial for all their fallen friends, in which they free their souls from the talisman, becoming rainfall upon our heroes, in a hope for the future that they'll decide of what to make of it.
10.
Story is pretty entertaining, but there's something about it that feels... what's the word I'm looking for? Unoriginal. I feel like I've seen this movie dozens of times and done better to boot. Oh, you're gonna have robots kill all the humans? Done. A last group of survivors that will decide the fate of the world? Seen it. None of it here is bad, it's just built on things that have been overplayed. Even the characters, as much as I like them, are just one-dimensional. Each of them is just a standard stereotype you've seen before in these kind of films. You got the hero type, the scared leader, the inventor, the muscle, the conspiracy theorist, the badass chick, you get the idea. I know that they're all different parts of the scientist's soul, but it just comes off as shallow. Like I said, the story accomplishes what it's trying to do, but it'll feel very standard as you watch it. There is some lore that is interesting and is definitely worth looking into, but it's buried under a very safe plot. Alright, let's get into the other stuff and see what's up. I'm starting with the cast, but unlike my other movie reviews, I don't really have much to say about them individually. I mean, I like Elijah as 9, Jennifer as 7, and Christopher as 1. Wish we could have seen more of 2, 6, and 8, but honestly the real standout for me was John C. Reilly as 5. Overall a really solid cast, and I'll just leave it at that. The action is fine. There are some cool beats every once in a while, but most of it is just them running. Which makes sense because of the size and all. Animation is okay, but it can be a little stiff at points. One thing that doesn't hold up is the movie's color palette. It's just browns and grays, and it all makes everything look ugly. I get that it's the apocalypse, but it could have been much better to see more greens and the vibrant colors like in the posters. The music is really good, and Deborah Laurie should really be commended for it. It's composed really well, and even if I can't recall a particular track, none of it I would classify as really forgettable. Which kind of contradicts what I just said, but it's all enjoyable stuff. I thought I would have more to say, but I don't really. Let's just get into my final thoughts. 9 is a good time, and I'm really glad I came back to this after all these years. I like the deeper lore given, and while I have my issues with the standard character archetypes and the simple plot, what was there I still enjoyed overall. I would definitely watch this again, but I'm not really in a hurry to see it again soon. I'm shocked that I said that because I really do like these kind of animated films, but regardless, I would say for you all, it's worth renting to check out, and if it sticks, why not buy a physical copy? 9 is a weird number, but it makes for an interesting movie. So, that was my first movie for a special review, and I kind of want to do more of these in the future. I'm still mostly going to stick to video games because I'm more comfortable in that ballpark, but I have a few on my list that I want to check out at some point. Well, as for my next special review, Halloween is right around the corner, and, well, hoping to have something out for the occasion. But until then, have a great night, thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves. I kind of did those backwards, but forget about it.